All right, so we're going to recap day 9. Day 9 was an interesting day. So day 9 was the first full day where we were touring around Jerusalem. And we had parts of days in the city before, but this was our first full day, a lot of walking, but it was a lot of interesting sights.
A lot of people touching me.
Which we will explore. So the first place we stopped was the Church of St. Anne's. The Church of St. Anne's is right beside the Pool of Bethesda. So if you remember in the Bible story, there were people that would gather around the Pool of Bethesda to seek healing. Whenever the waters would move, they would go down into the waters and be healed. But something happened at the Church of St. Anne that was really cool.
Which, by the way, St. Anne is dedicated to Mary's mother, so the mother of Jesus' grandmother.
So the rule is you can't visit St. Anne's without singing. So we got a chance to sing, which was really awesome. There was also an Oriental group that was in there and sang. Then we got a chance to go outside the church down to the Pool of Bethesda. And at first glance, the Pool of Bethesda was anticlimactic. It was not like a pool. However, if you turn this one little corner, we found what's now a cistern of water, and it was a huge well of water, went really far deep. That was actually really cool, and you could actually get a sense of, okay, this is like where they would store water, and there would be a lot of it in one place.
It's interesting too because you have you go down because everything is excavated way down, but everything's been built up so much, so you have to actually get down to okay, this is what the Pool of Bethesda would have been like at the time of Christ, and then this is the Crusader time, and this is the Byzantine time, and all this that's built up upon it. So it's very interesting because you don't actually have what one thing would have been like. You have so many years of history on top of each other.
Right.
All beside, as you look up the side of it, there's laundry hanging out because people live right there. So yeah. It's interesting.
So with that being said, the next place we visited was underground, several stories, and it was the Praetorium where they tried Jesus Christ. And a lot of things in Jerusalem are original, but here we actually saw the original stones that Jesus would have walked back on in biblical times over 2,000 years ago. And
it's interesting because like you said, we went down several stories, and there were these really low stone ceilings, but at the time of Christ, this was actually an open courtyard, essentially, that went way high with no ceiling. But the stone that we were standing on, they know this is the stone that was there. So this is where Christ would have stood when he went before Pilate, where he was scourged, where he picked up his cross and began his journey down the Via Dolorosa. So actually knowing these are the stones, it was a very surreal moment.
Once we left the Praetorium, we were literally on the Via Dolorosa. There are stages of the cross that people take a moment to reflect and pray at on the Via Dolorosa that are called the stages of the cross, or stages of Christ's suffering. That was really interesting because people would literally carry old, made up wooden crosses to kind of tribute or bear the burden of Jesus Christ in their own way. From there, we went down to the quarters of Jerusalem, which, if you know, there's 4 quarters in the city of Jerusalem. There's the Jewish quarter, there's the Christian quarter, there's the Armenian quarter, and there's the Arab quarter. So we went through the Arab quarter.
Fresh ground Turkish coffee.
And that led us directly into the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
Great time there. We started off out in the courtyard and then made our way into it. Some of us made our way into it, but
It wasn't her favorite place. Why
No.
wasn't it your favorite place, dear?
Because I got shoved down upon entering it, and all these people were trying to go in this tiny little stairwell and pushing around a pregnant lady with all these incense and everything. Ted just turned us around. I'm like, I'm leaving, and got us back out, and I did not go into the Church of the Holy Sepulchre because of that. But for him and those who did.
So it's this like really special place. There supposedly is the actual tomb of Jesus Christ, where people literally hunch down and go under and say a prayer. There is like a further deeper room that has tons of incense filled into it, where they think another place is. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre, if you do your study, it's a really interesting place, because if you can imagine, the church is owned by like 8 separate different churches. So if you can imagine going into a regular church nowadays, and the pulpit being owned by like the Catholics, and the choir loft being owned by the Presbyterians, and the sound booth being owned by the Mormons, that like just would not get along. So that's what this ancient church is like. So it's a really surreal but yet interesting experience, but was super stressful for some people. So we left.
Did.
So right after we left the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, our touring, quote unquote, for the day, formal touring at least, was pretty much over.
What are you doing? Tell us.
I am opening up chocolate milk in a bag. Here's your bag.
She's just going for
She
it.
just put her whole mouth on it. Awesome. Mine. No, hey.
He's just going like this.
He's not touching it with his hand at all. He's like, it's not strapped on though. It's just chilling on a beanbag.
So we actually had, right after lunch, we were pretty much free to roam the streets.
Which,
so,
by the way, for lunch after my time in the Church of Holy Sepulchre, we did manage to find a pizza place in Old City,
She was in
Jerusalem, and I just ate my piece of pizza and let nobody shove me and was in my happy place.
Can you tell us what you got there?
So today we've been in Old Jerusalem, and I've been pushed around a lot, and I'm kind of overstimulated. So I have a piece of Israeli pizza, and I'm pretty excited about eating this right now. So I'm gonna go to my happy place now. Thanks.
It's like an angelic love around your face.
What I'm going for. Okay, you can stop filming now. Thanks.
But we got to go shopping all down the streets of Jerusalem. It was really interesting. There are tons of places to not only barter, but you can get all kinds of t-shirts and crafts. There's tons of like a spice market that was really cool. But that was really the rest of our day for day 9. So overall,
Day 9 was by far the most stressful day for me. Like, just the people, everywhere we went, there were so many people.
so not the most fun,
But good.
but it was good.
Just say we did it.
Tune in tomorrow. We'll keep you updated. It's going to be our last day tomorrow. I can't wait to tell you guys all about it.